What's up, YouTube? You're watching Steel City MotoVlogs. I'm your host, Derrick T, and today is Saturday, March 5th, 2022, and it's a warm one today. You wouldn't guess it from kind of the way that I'm layered. It didn't start very warm today, but the high is supposed to be, I think, 65 or something like that. It feels like it's in the upper 40s now, and it's supposed to get a little bit warmer this afternoon. So I'm on my way to meet up with a couple friends. We're going to go for a ride somewhere where whichever way the wind is blowing, I think, is the way that we're going today. And I guess I just wanted to take a minute before I get with the rest of the crew, because I don't even know who's all going to be there. But I'm thinking I'm going to make this topic solo riding versus group riding. And anybody who's watched any of my previous content will know kind of which way I'm leaning towards. Definitely for the purposes of recording episodes of Steel City MotoVlogs, I'd really enjoy riding alone. There are a lot of pros. There are pros and cons on both sides. There's definitely a lot of pros to having to riding in a group, you know, safety being one of them, the camaraderie, the fellowship. In one of my videos, I had an electrical problem that shut my bike down, and it had not been for the fact that I had some brothers and friends nearby me, because I was going to meet up with the club that I ride with. If it wasn't for them being around me, I would have been stranded. So I'm not knocking group riding at all, but as an individual, if I'm just talking about my individual personality, we're just talking about Derrick Turner's personality, I definitely prefer solo, just because of my introverted nature. I'm very used to being alone, being by myself. Even when I'm in a crowd, sometimes I feel alone. It just is the kind of person that I am. Definitely leans towards doing things on a solo mission. I mean, I go to movies by myself, I go bowling by myself. There are a lot of things, anything that I do with a group of people, I can definitely do by myself. So just talking specifically from a personality standpoint, from the kind of, I don't know if you call that a type A or a type B or what, I don't get into all of those definitions and everything else of personalities. But if we're talking about Derrick Turner's personality, it definitely leans towards solo riding. It does not mean that I don't have a problem, or it doesn't mean I have a problem with riding in a group. Not at all. Especially when, you know, you're riding with people who you know and you're out having a good time. And so that's what we're going to do today. Going to meet up with some friends, and we're going to go for a ride and have a good time. Probably grab some lunch or something like that. And that's what days like today are meant for. By the way, outside of it raining and, you know, just really being completely inclement, my bike is definitely the way I get around if I don't have the kids with me. I mean, we watched, I think in 2 days, I think gas prices went up by about 85 cents. Probably over $1 now it's gone up in the last couple of days with all of this stuff going on in the world. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be skimping on my fuel costs and getting around on the Goldwing just a little bit more, and keeping the car parked also just a little bit more. But now there are some times when I'm going to have to make a choice. If I'm just getting out and going where I need to go, that might not necessarily mean put the MotoVlog helmet on and turn on the GoPro. Sometimes if I just got to get to work, I don't have time to turn on a camera and do all of that pre-ride prep that I do in order to create the videos that I create. So when I'm in commute mode, there'll probably be a little bit less content from those than on like a recreational day like today. that'll also give me a chance to play my music just a little bit more. I did a whole series on upgrading my stereo, and it seems like I never have it on, largely because of copyright issues, but I never have my music on that I'm playing on the bike. I mean, it works. It's right here. It's a Marine unit. It works. And I have a really good sound. I have a 9-speaker system. But I never get to play it when I'm out creating content because I don't want to have to overdub if I don't have to. And I don't want to get a copyright claim also. So as I start to commute to and from work, I think I'll just kind of take those times to myself and enjoy it a little bit more than I currently do. Or maybe I'll use the 360 cam and just overdub it. I don't know. There are plenty of options. It always seems to me like going for a ride, you know, you take every advantage that you can to create content because it doesn't come easy. A lot of times it doesn't come easy. So yeah, those are a little bit of my thoughts on solo riding versus group riding. I mean, the pros on both ends. I mean, I love being able to call my own shots, operate in my own time frames, go where I want to go, eat where I want to eat. You know, there are no democratic votes in that system of thought at all. You do what you want, when you want, how you want. Maybe that has a lot to do with my personality too. I am very much a free-spirited person that way, and I like to be able to call my own shots. But on the flip side, like I said, being in a group, there's nothing like the safety, the networking, the camaraderie, and everything else. But you do give up a few things, like somebody else, you know, a road captain or something like that might be in charge of the schedule, you know, and their agenda might be a little bit different than yours. So there's some things that you give up for the benefits of riding in a group. And so the question for me becomes, what am I willing to part ways with? And sometimes that changes from day to day, from ride to ride. Sometimes I'm in a position where I'm having to choose, do I want to go out and ride with a group today? Do I want to find some people to ride with or ride with the club? Or do I just want to go out and do a solo shot? Sometimes I have to make that choice. Some days it's easier, and other days it might be a little bit more of a challenge, but I'm definitely definitely a solo rider more than I am a group rider. So, I'm gonna stop it here, pick up some gas. All right, YouTube. I'm back, but I'm not really back. Yes, I am. All right. I got Brian and Ron in front of me, but there's a car in front of me too. I had to answer a phone call, so I pulled out of an intersection a little bit later than they did. We're headed over to Jeff's house. Y'all have seen Jeff's house before on the Toys for Tots ride. And here's me, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. And hey, I did it. All right. So now the only thing to do is to come back down. And yeah, that's the one that I had to get some intercessory prayer for going up his driveway. I'm just not in the mood for that driveway today. So I'll tell you what, when they pull up the driveway, here I go. When they pull up the driveway, I'm going to wait down at the bottom. I'm just not going to do that today. I'm okay doing things that I'm comfortable with. And I'm also okay not doing things that I'm not comfortable with. So yeah, that particular driveway I've never been comfortable with, so I'm just not going to do it today. Alright. Right now I got on one glove, and it's kind of irking me a little bit. These are the kind of things that you deal with when you're group riding. I didn't have time to all the way set myself before everybody pulls off. So
whenever I see everybody pulling off and I only have one glove on, I just stuff the other one in my pocket and try to catch up as best as I can. That's how a car ended up getting in between us, because we had to make a left turn out of an intersection, and I was a little bit farther behind everybody, but it's all good. As you see, we eventually did catch up to each other. So this particular ride, we were actually on our way to Jeff's house, like I stated earlier, and Jeff lives a good little distance away from us, probably about 30 or 40 minutes of the highway. We started making our way, and before we knew it, some things started happening around us that I wasn't all the way aware of. I don't think Ron was all the way aware of, but sometimes things happen that are out of your control. So I'm going to try to tell this story and do it a little bit of justice. What ended up happening, as you all know, if you've been watching the channel at all, Brian, who's the lead bike up in the front with the Victory Vision, is a local mechanic here. He has a lot of clients here in Pittsburgh. And so when we met at his house, he was actually working on a bike for a young lady. And you ever have one of those moments where you tear your house up looking for something and you can't find it, and you believe it's lost, and the whole time that item, like your keys or something like that, end up being right where you least expected them to be, in a place that was really, really simple, like right up under your nose or even in your pocket sometimes. I know that's happened to me a couple times as I get older, so can't really be mad at anybody for the same thing happening to them. Anyway, we were on our way to Jeff's house, and we ended up getting down the road and then having to kind of stop before we really got started and turn around and go back, because a set of keys belonged to a young lady who was coming to pick up her bike. She couldn't find them anywhere, and so we went back to Brian's house. Brian was looking for the keys, couldn't find them. We went and met the young lady. We kind of gave her a little bit of assistance, as much as we could. But long story short, after a whole ordeal about not being able to find these keys, Brian had those keys in his pocket the whole time. So, you know, that's just kind of the way the day went. But it wasn't all the way a lost cause. We did do some good riding. It's just that most of the riding we did was right in our local community and on back roads that kind of look like this one going along the Allegheny River. And we hit a few twisties and everything else. So it wasn't all the way a bad day. Not at all. It was good to get out and ride. It was good to get out and meet with some people, you know, and have a good time. We did end up going and getting something to eat. We never made it to Jeff's house. I guess, Jeff, we'll see you next time. But yeah, it wasn't all the way a loss, but it was pretty funny that we kind of did a pretty grand tour of our local community, only to find out that the very thing that Brian was looking for, he had it on his person the entire time. All right, what's happening, YouTube? During this video, there was a lot of dead space in a lot of the footage that I did, just because I found myself with a lot of blocks. Just, you know, and any motovlogger will tell you, you don't always go out and, you know, when you ride, you just have stuff to talk about from the beginning of the ride all the way to the end of the ride. That's what editing is for. So in this video, you'll see I'm kind of putting all of my tools to work here, as far as adding some voiceover to some areas, adding some B-reel to some other clips, and then this little pop-up video here, just kind of filling in the space so that you're not watching dead space the entire time that we rode. check this next little bit of footage out here. Like I said, the day wasn't all the way ruined because I got a chance to do some things that I'm really not known for. It's not that I can't do them. It's just that most of my videos don't feature me doing certain things, like taking twisties, for instance. Check this out.
I'm not really known for taking twisties all like that. That's exactly where we're at right now. I mean, we're not going terribly fast either. For as big as a sectional sofa of a motorcycle the Goldwing 1500 is, it is most certainly nimble. I mean, it handles beautifully in the twisties. Did I mention I have a dark side tire as well?
One more time, I just really feel the need to reiterate, I'm not taking a shot at anybody, and this is not a slight at anybody. But I am going to use kind of some examples from this ride to kind of iterate the points that I was making about riding in a group versus riding with friends or even riding solo. But there are some of those pros and cons, and those things kind of made themselves present even in this ride. Now, I didn't necessarily care that we ended up having to turn around and go help somebody out and make sure that they were good and everything else. At the end of the day, it was just nice to be out riding.
All right, y'all, we're on the road finally. We've probably done about, no joke, maybe about a 15-mile circle. We had to turn around and we had a couple things happen outside of our control and had to kind of deviate from the original plan. So we are going to ride out and grab a bite to eat. But we're essentially starting from scratch, like right about now.
So let me know what you think in the comments section. Let's have a quick discussion. What do you prefer? Do you prefer riding solo? Do you prefer just getting together with a couple friends and riding? Or do you prefer riding in the camaraderie of a motorcycle club? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like the video, go on and hit subscribe. And hey, I think it's awesome. We have a couple of achievements. I have a couple of achievements that I want to share with you very quickly. I'll throw those up on your screen. Over 1,700 subscribers now, over 60,000 views. This, I believe, is going to be video number 83 by the time this one drops in a couple weeks. And so, hey, I just really am enjoying the ride. Along the way, I've met some people locally and online, and it's been really, really an enjoyable experience doing the channel and everything else. So hey, if you want to come along for the ride, hit that subscribe button. Until then, this is Steel City MotoVlogs. I'm Derrick T, and I want you all to be safe out there. Until the next video, I'll see you all later.